Hey, what is going on guys? In this video I'm going to be showing you how to make your own photography using an iPhone or a camera. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make photography with your iPhone and also with a DSLR, which is currently filming right now. So one of the first steps you want to take is find a good outside location, or if you're doing indoor photography, I picked two different subjects, a moving subject, which was the dog right here, and then a flower inside a kind of rock bed area, which is non-moving. And I'll show you the different settings you should set your camera at, and then also how to take them on your iPhone. So my first subject is going to be this yellow lab right here that is wanting me to throw his ball, but I will in a minute. Okay, so first off, you want to set up the camera. For this, I'm not using a tripod since it's a kind of moving subject, and you can use a tripod. It's going to be a little bit more hard to focus in on the subject. So you kind of want to get a point of view on what I like to call it on your pictures. So otherwise known as perspective, so basically blurring the background. And how you do that is you wanna go to aperture, and the lower f stop that you have, the basically more blurry the background is. So let's say a 2f stop is going to be a lot more blurry in the background than like a 14. And then on iPhone, what you want to do is go to portraits. I'm not 100% sure if it's on the lower devices such as like the 7, 8, and all those. But portrait will blur the background for you, and it makes it a lot cooler point of view, and it can help you enhance your photography. Alright, so now I'm going to take the photo with the regular DSLR camera, and this is how it turns out. It looks pretty good raw, but there can be some editing done here. And now I'm going to take the one with the iPhone. iPhone 1 turned out a lot better than I thought it would. The portrait mode is a really powerful tool on your iPhone that a lot of people don't take advantage of, but I would suggest to start using to enhance your photography a lot better. So next I'm going to take a non-moving subject, which is the flower that I chose, and it's just like white flower in the rock bed. And so I'm going to take one with the DSLR. I'm going to blur the background a tiny bit and then shoot it. And this is how it comes out right here. Pretty decent. I like how it came out. Also, there was a little bit of editing to do. And so now I'm going to take one with the iPhone. iPhone 1 came out pretty wide, so I could crop it down to get rid of the trampoline in the background, and or the shed over there in the garden. It'll help focus your subject and make your viewer of the photography kind of more centralized on your main subject that you're shooting. So now I'm going to show you guys how to edit these photos. It's pretty simple. I'll show you a free one for the iPhone, and then I'm going to use Adobe Photoshop for the regular camera, which I usually use for my photography. So Adobe Photoshop on the iPhone is absolutely free. You can get it on the App Store for free. It comes with a ton of features, which I will show you right now. You can just scroll up and down on all the features. They have preset filters and stuff. So if you're on the go and need something just on the fly, you can click one of those, which looks best. Or you can go on up the top and it will enhance your photo automatically for you, which is a really helpful tool that I found out. So as you can see in the background here, there is some trees and stuff. The garden's barely visible. Trampoline on the very, very left side on that clipping corner is kind of noticeable. So what I'm going to do is clip out that, kind of make it a little bit even. And this will show you the rule of thirds, how you want your main subject to be right in the middle. So I'm gonna choose this, and then it's gonna be cropped just perfect like that. And so I always love to bring up the contrast because it enhances the difference in colors, because contrast is the difference between two colors, basically, is the easy way to explain it. Turn down the highlight if you want a lot more like detail, or you can turn it up to enhance like the white, rich flower. And then the shadows, if you want like a more centralized subject, you can have that. Or if you want it like a little bit more vibrant like that, you can do that. I'm gonna keep it kind of in the middle. And then the blacks, whites, enhance that. And then I usually skip over the vibrance and saturation, because Photoshop actually has this really cool thing I'll show you in a minute, where you can enhance certain colors, so you don't just enhance all the photography and spots that you don't want to. And so dehaze is like one of my favorite features in this app. You can dehaze it and it will like make it so much more clear to the subject, keeping the background blurry, and I find this like really helpful. Then you also have the color noise, luminance, and sharpen. I'm gonna leave these as is, but it'll zoom in like this for you. You can adjust it how it is. I didn't get that much color noise in this since it's pretty bright out, and so that helps a lot better. So remember also to have good lighting when you shoot, because the more dark light that you have, it's going to be a lot more editing and a lot more pain I go through while editing. And so this is my next favorite feature. This is what I was talking about earlier. You can enhance, like this is the hue, but I'll go on to saturation. If you didn't want any of the yellow, you could go like that. Or if you really wanted the yellow to pop out like that, I'm gonna keep it kind of mid-range. And so you can make the trees in the background less vibrant, more vibrant. Also affects the stem. I'm gonna keep it right in the middle there. And then the oranges, that actually looks a lot better. It orange kind of takes away from the yellow there for a little bit. And so I'm going to leave it just like that. And then what you can do is export. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to export the camera roll. And now your photo has been saved to the camera roll. That's what it looked like before and then after. Huge, huge difference here, as you can see. And you just basically make this subject a lot more centralized. You kind of brought out the existing color that didn't need to be like very vibrant, and then also we moved up the contrast, which helps get this color back to where like it looks like in real life. And so now I'm going to show you how to edit on Adobe Photoshop while using my laptop here. Okay, so here is the photo in Photoshop. As you can see, it's a little bit overexposed on the edges. The flower has a lot of highlight in it, and so here let's fix that by going up to filter, and you're going to go to camera raw filter. It'll bring up this whole entire page that looks almost exactly like the mobile version, but it's a lot more advanced. So let's take down the exposure a little bit to bring out those details on that main flower right there. Contrast will move up a little bit. And as you can see, it just adds a whole new layer of like existence to this regular photo that you want to get if you didn't edit it. So what I'm going to do is probably crop this. Again, this will have your rule of thirds, which I can explain the rule of thirds rule in a different video, but for right now I'm going to keep it like that, and we are pretty much done. So this is how it will look on your DSLR if you decide to upload it and do it that way. If you don't have camera equipment, you can always do it by the iPhone way, but either is your choice. So 3 main tips when you're going out and filming or shooting photography is be sure to add a depth of view if you want your object to be focused. Definitely use a point of view perspective and add the blur in the background, either by focusing it with the aperture and the camera, or you can do it on the iPhone by switching it over to portrait mode. But either way works out pretty good. I will put them side by side right now to see the difference. This is before the editing side by side, iPhone on the right, and then the camera DSLR on the left, and then this is after. Huge difference in editing, huge difference in the aperture or blurry background as it's called, and it'll make your photos 10 times better. The second thing is, well, raw photos sometimes come out good. There is always room for editing, so never give up on your photo by not editing it. Editing is like the basis to photography. So almost every photo that is taken by a photographer has been edited, or unless it's like portraits and other stuff like that. But editing adds a whole new depth of view. But I would totally just recommend editing your photos because that adds a whole new perspective to it. And then number 3, always be creative with your photography. Mess with your shutter speed on the camera, or there's also different apps on the App Store that you can definitely check out that are also free, and you can adjust the settings on there to be like a DSLR. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I will be posting how to make your film more cinematic later this week, probably. I recorded that originally and I was going to post it today, but I ran out of time with that, so I decided to make a quick photography tutorial. But stay tuned for that, and hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day.